Now that you've learned what tarot is and what each of your Wisdom of Pooh tarot cards means, it's time to put your knowledge to work. In this video, I'm going to show you what a tarot spread is using an amazing example created specifically for the Wisdom of Pooh tarot. The information shared in this video was drawn from both a deep dive into the Wisdom of Pooh guidebook and Pooh's Lunar Expedition, a magical, full-color workbook that includes tarot spreads, guided rituals, astrological wisdom, and engaging exercises that take you on a year-long journey of inner child healing. If you're looking for a way to align with the Earth, the cosmos, and yourself, Pooh's Lunar Expedition is the way to do it. With the Friends of the 100-Acre Wood by your side, you'll heal your tender heart and integrate the ultimate wisdom of Winnie the Pooh. What is a tarot spread? Simply stated, a tarot card spread is a method of laying out tarot cards in a specific order or pattern. Each position in the pattern represents a different aspect of what the querent, or the person for whom the tarot reading is being done, wants to know. Examples of these are insight into a situation, work, relationships, or specific information to assist in decision-making. The cards you place in these positions help give insights or guidance about those specific areas. Since a tarot reading is done to gather insight about a particular condition or situation, position designations are often stated in the form of a question or worded in such a way that they evoke targeted insight from the cards. For example, the first card in a spread may correspond to the following position question: what am I here to learn? The card that the reader flips over and places into that position will work to answer the question posited by interpreting the card's meaning and how it relates to the question. Beginners often benefit from doing a daily draw or a one-card reading that offers general insight into what the day will bring. There are also a variety of standard 3-card spreads, for example, past, present, and future, that newcomers can use to get a sense of how tarot reading works and how the cards interact with one another. Some readers may prefer to work with more traditional spreads often used by seasoned readers, such as the 10-card Celtic Cross, a spread that Edward Arthur Waite created and included in a pictorial key to the tarot. Most modern readers, however, work with spreads ranging from 3 to 8 cards, with a 5 to 6 card spread being the most common. The following spread was created specifically for the Wisdom of Pooh tarot by tarot reader and historian Dustin Dimondja. Dustin is also the primary author of Pooh's Lunar Expedition. The spread he developed truly captures the spirit of the Wisdom of Pooh tarot while evoking deep spiritual and psychological insight as well. Use this spread to connect with your Wisdom of Pooh deck, discover more about who you are, and encourage the emergence of your most radiant and integrated self. A Year in the 100-Acre Wood Tarot Spread. Doing a tarot reading with a year-ahead spread is a bit like forecasting the weather for the next 12 months. Be sure to pay attention to the themes that arise from this reading as well as the messages it conveys, and let what you learn guide your plans and intentions. Remember, sometimes it's better to take the road less traveled or take an alternate route when obstacles arise. Don't forget to make plans to stop and visit all of your friends in Pooh Corner along the way. Position 1. Pooh's Home. What to focus on for the year to come. Position 2. Where the woos wasn't. Past problems you need to leave behind. Position 3. Bee Tree. Future obstacles you need to overcome. Position 4. Gloomy Place. What adventures will winter bring? Position 5. Rabbit's Garden. What adventures will spring bring? Position 6, Sandy Pit. What adventures will summer bring? Position 7, Autumn Forest. What adventures will autumn bring? Hello, my darlings, my dears. I am Jessie Huntenberg. I have been your guide throughout this journey, and right now I'm going to use the Wisdom of Pooh Tarot to read with a spread by Dustin Dimanja called A Year in the 100-Acre Wood spread. Firstly, this spread is included in Pooh's Lunar Expedition, which is a lunar workbook that is available for pre-order now and may be available for direct order when you are listening to this. But this is a spread that was taken directly from that workbook that I'm going to use to give you a demonstration of how to read the tarot. So recently, up until very recently, I was a professional tarot reader for 7 years, so I am well versed in the tarot. I've also created my own deck called the Genius Garden Tarot, so I have at least some experience when it comes to reading the tarot, and I definitely feel like I have a thing or two that I can impart to you, whether you're a beginner or an intermediate learner, etc. Now, I also just want to let you know that many of the other videos, or the other 2 videos in the beginning of this video, were recorded in very controlled conditions. I recorded the voiceover first, and then I matched the voiceover to whatever images were on the screen. This is going to be a little bit more casual, I'd say. And I'm also recording on 2 different devices, so if there's a little bit of a lag when it comes to what you're hearing and what you're seeing, that is why, but I'm going to endeavor to do my best to still maintain the level of quality I've tried to maintain throughout this series as I show you, or just give you a demonstration of how it is to read tarot. I'm really just going to, basically riff here. I don't have any plans for how this is going to go specifically. Again, I don't know which cards are going to come up in which positions, but I'm hoping that through just explaining my process, that you'll get a little bit of insight into how to conduct a tarot reading either for yourself or for someone else. So the first thing you want to do is shuffle your deck. You can do hand over hand shuffle, as you see me doing here. This is the shuffling method that I recommend for actually preserving the quality of your deck. And you'll see a card just jumped out right there. I will actually read with what we call jumper cards in the tarot community. So if a card jumps out of the deck while I'm shuffling, I leave it aside and I prepare to place it in the spread. So that's why that card is still there. Or you can do what's called riffle shuffling, which you saw earlier in this video, in which you split the deck into half. And this is a cascade where you just kind of let the cards fall. I have some cards that are flipped over, oh my goodness. Where you just kind of let the cards fall without bending the cardstock itself. So again, this is a way to shuffle if you want to maintain the quality of your deck. If you don't care whether or not the quality of your deck is maintained, which some people don't, believe me, they're like, I buy a deck to use it. I don't care if it remains pristine. You can do a proper riffle shuffle in which you place your 2 fingers on the backs of the cards, and then you push the cards down in a cascading effect and bridge them. Now, if this is something you're not familiar with, it's going to take some practice. And I recommend that you watch a video other than this to teach you how to do it. But those are basically the 2 main ways, or even 3, I guess you can say, if you use like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a different video because I just actually hit my my apparatus, my tripod apparatus. But if you're looking for ways to shuffle, there are different videos you can watch, but those are 3 basic ways. And we've also had a couple more jumper cards here, which again, I kind of anticipate because I'm talking and shuffling all at the same time. But I'm going to choose to use them for this spread, which is a 7-card spread, which I'm likely... Now, the arrangement that you see, or you saw earlier in the video of the spread, requires much more space than I have here to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay the cards out neatly and read with the spread thusly, because again, we have an issue of space. But if you really want to, honor the actual design of the spread, feel free to spread out on a giant table, or even on the floor is another great place that you can read the tarot. So I'm going to do one more card. I'm going to actually leave it because you can actually read in one of two ways. You can pull cards one at a time as you're reading and flip them over one at a time. Or you can do what I usually prefer to do, which is pull all of the cards face down and then flip them over as the reading progresses. The reason why I flip them over as the reading progresses rather than all at once is because I think if they're all unveiled at once, it can be highly distracting for whomever it is that you're reading for. As you're focusing on reading this card and looking at specific meaning, your querent, or the person you're reading for, could be looking at many other different cards as well, and it could be distracting them from what it is that you're saying and from the meaning of the card that you're working on at the moment. So as you can see, this is a 7-card spread that's designed to guide you through the year, or at least give you a bit of an outlook or a forecast for the year ahead. A traditional year ahead spread is usually 12 cards, one for each month, but Dustin wanted to do something a little bit different, something a little bit more original for the Wisdom of Pooh, so he designed this 7-card spread. So I am going to first read the card in the position, then flip the card over and read it as I would for a tarot querent or someone I was doing the reading for, okay? So the first card and position is Pooh's Home, what to focus on for the year to come. And this querent, this hypothetical querent, has received the 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands is a card of foundation. It is a celebration of the achievement of creating a solid foundation from which you can launch. So it's a really, really, it has positive connotations. And we see Christopher Robin here is tied up in strings by all the friends of the 100-Acre Wood. He is under this ivy and floral garland, and everyone is playing with him. Now, him being tied up is a little bit unique in terms of the depiction of this card. And this card is usually one where we see characters as rejoicing and as being free, and not necessarily as being constrained. And this is when a guidebook, honestly, just such as the Wisdom of Pooh Deep Dive guidebook, comes in handy, because then you get the actual story behind the development and creation of this card and the origin of the story as it relates to the canon of Winnie the Pooh. So, as a tarot reader who is familiarized with the traditional meanings of the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, I would interpret this card as a call to focus on creating very firm foundations for the year ahead. And I would interpret it as a boon, as a fortune, that if the querent decides to indeed focus on creating a really stable foundation, that they will likely be successful. So I would encourage them to focus on this and to focus on the energy of this card, one of harmony and one of stability from which they can grow. Now, the second card is Where the Woos Wasn't, past problems you need to leave behind. And you can read the card upside down. There are reversal meanings, and again, reversal meanings are included in the Deep Dive to Wisdom of Pooh guidebook, and you can also look up this card reversed. This is a deck that's based on the Rider-Waite-Smith system, so you can look up the 5 of Wands reversed and get a reversed meaning if you'd like from the internet, etc. I choose not to read reversals because I feel that both the negative and positive connotations of the card will come through depending on what it is, depending on the energy I'm sharing with the person I'm reading for, and depending on the question it is that they're asking. So I just choose to flip the card upright. So, Where the Woos Wasn't, past problems you need to leave behind. And we have received the 5 of Wands. The 5 of Wands, as tarot reader Benabel Wen, whose deck I featured, the Spirit Keepers Tarot, in one of the previous videos would say that the Five of Wands represents a zero-sum game. In other words, the Five of Wands, you're not really accomplishing or achieving anything by engaging with others in these little squabbles or battles that you're having. However, you are practicing. You are developing a skill set. Okay? So in terms of this position, past problems you need to leave behind, I would actually interpret this card specifically as a call to relinquish engaging in any kind of conflict that has no resolution. These conflicts will waste time and energy of the Querent in the year to come rather than help them develop their skills. So it's time to kind of leave behind anything that's not going to help them to create this stable foundation they should be focusing on. So any kind of squabble, any kind of conflict, any kind of engagement that's going to detract from them creating a stable foundation is something that they should leave behind in the past. The third position, B tree, future obstacles you need to overcome. And we've received the Empress. The Empress is the archetype of the divine feminine embodied. In other words, she represents Mother Earth. So in the position of obstacles needed to be overcome, I would tell the Querent that whatever it is that stands between them and a loving embrace of their relationships, of their world, of their experience, is something that they're going to have to work through in the coming year. So another way of saying that is the Empress, which is also, she also represents the goddess of love, Venus. Anything that is hampering loving connections, an open heart, growth and compassion is something that is going to be, that they're going to be invited to address this year. The obstacles that are going to arise are those that have to deal with compassion versus judgment. That's going to be a theme for the year. So what they're going to want to focus on or to work through is developing open-heartedness, developing love, and developing connections. Also, one can interpret the Empress as the creative aspect. So if it's not loving relationships that the Querent is struggling with, perhaps they might actually resonate more deeply with an interpretation that addresses creativity and creative blocks. So if they come to you with a question about creativity, about career, for example, the Empress in this position could represent overcoming obstacles that have to do with creativity and also with building strong foundations, because we need to create in order to build strong foundations. It's that active principle, that active energy. And the Wand suit is the suit, if we remember, of action and desire, and the Empress is very much of desire as well, and she's of active manifestation in the physical realm. So 4, gloomy place, what adventures will winter bring? And we have received the 3 of honeypots, or the 3 of cups. The 3 of cups is a card of, most simply, having a good time with some friends. So it says, what adventures will winter bring? I would advise the Querent that to encourage meetings with friends, to set aside time to socialize, to come together with people they care about, and to have a laugh and kick back and relax and just kind of enjoy. The winter is a great time to hunker down, but you don't have to do it alone. You can always invite someone to come over and just spend some time with you in your abode, in the warmth, in the comfort, and have a great time. There's no need to, retreat to your hermitage in the winter, although many of us do. You can also invite others into your space and have a great time, and allow them to invite you into their space as well, and just enjoy their company. So 5, Rabbit's Garden. What adventures will spring bring? And we've received the 6 of Swords, which is the card of moving on. So this lets me know that spring is going to be a time of transition for the Querent. Spring is going to be a time of leaving behind what no longer serves and making their way to a greener shore. This card often infers that wherever it is that the querent is going is a better place than where they're leaving. So they're moving forward. They may feel a bit dejected as they make this transition. However, where they're going is someplace good. So they have that to look forward to. I could also advise them to, to lower their resistance to change, because change is coming, and the change that is coming is a good change. So it's something that they want to embrace and move with rather than fight against. So 6, Sandy Pit, what adventures will summer bring? We've received the Hanged Bear, or the Hanged Man, which represents surrender. It's usually surrender, a spiritual form of surrender, where we recognize and realize that there are forces at work both without us and within us that are much larger than ourselves, and that we only really have control over so much. This is a deep spiritual realization, and it paves the way for enlightenment, to use the Buddhist term. So, what adventures will summer bring? Summer will bring spiritual transformation that invites the querent to surrender, to stop fighting. Again, and you see the connection between these two cards and the reading, it will flow. I've been doing this for a while. So it's intuitive at this point for me to incorporate the meaning that arose from the previous card into all the other cards in the spread, because they can be interconnected, because this is a card of moving forward. This is a card of surrender. They've even already said that I would encourage the querent to refrain from resisting the change. And the Hanged Bear represents a surrender to that change as well. So perhaps they might be in process in the springtime, but by the time summer has arrived, their journey, which has revealed itself to be a spiritual one, will kind of be complete, and they'll arrive where they were meant to, which is at this place of surrender and spiritual awakening and understanding. So finally, Autumn Forest. What adventures will autumn bring? And we've received the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles is a card of independent entrepreneurship. So if this was a career reading, I would let the querent know that their plans and their stable foundations that they were creating throughout the year would find fruition by autumn. That's one possible interpretation. If their journey was more of a spiritual one, as could be suggested by these two cards, I would let them know that their spiritual realizations and understanding paved the way for a sense of self-sufficiency and ability and confidence. And that could also be traced back to the building of stable foundations. Again, this is a very brief look into what a tarot reading looks like. In order to read tarot, one must practice like anything else. And this is just to give you a sense or an idea of what a tarot reading might feel like once you get an idea of what the cards mean and how their meanings speak to each other. So I hope that this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed this video guidebook series through the Wisdom of Pooh Tarot. Much love, my dears, and happy tarot reading.